A newborn king to sing pa-rum-pa-bum-bum, to lay before the king pa-rum-pa-bum-bum, to lay before the king pa-rum-pa-bum-bum, rum-pa-bum-bum, rum-pa-bum-bum. So to honor him, pa-rum-pa-bum-bum, when we come, little baby, pa-rum-pa-bum-bum, I am a poor boy to pa-rum-pa-bum-bum. I have no gifts to bring, pa-rum-pa-bum-bum. It's fit to give a king, pa-rum-pa-bum-bum, rum-pa-bum-bum, rum-pa-bum-bum. Shall I play for you, pa-rum-pa-bum-bum? Oh, my child, yeah, yeah. Very naughty, pa-rum-pa-bum-bum. The ox and lamb kept time, pa-rum-pa-bum-bum. I played my drum for him, pa-rum-pa-bum-bum. Played my best for him, pa-rum-pa-bum-bum, rum-pa-bum-bum, rum-pa-bum-bum. Then he smiled at me, pa-rum-pa-bum-bum. Me and my Joe, yeah, yeah. Joe, yeah,
Well, hey, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us today. I hope you had a really great Christmas, and we've got a special day for you today and a great, what we call a service. And so things are a little bit different today, and I'm super excited about that because I have some guests with me today that, some of you are going to recognize faces, some of you are going to know, but what you probably don't know is what we call them here in on our staff and in our church. And so what we're doing today is we are taking a look back, because if there's ever been a year we need to look back at and celebrate some high points, it's 2020 for sure. And so as we get ready to wrap up the year this week, I want to make sure that we're celebrating some of the great things that have happened. And so there's been some really wonderful things happen. And I just want you to know that behind the scenes and sometimes out front leading the way, there is a group of people that has made so many things happen this year, and I just think that's worth celebrating too. And so we're so grateful to get to lead here at the church and be on staff here and be a support to you and love you. But I want you to know that there's some great people behind the scenes that you call your church staff. And so I want to introduce to you what we call here on our staff leadership team. If you hear me say SLT, then you'll know what I'm talking about. So this is our SLT, and each one of these guys have a specific role, and they lead forward in the church. And so guys, I'm glad we get to hang out for just a little bit and talk. So what we want to do is we want to take a look back, and we want to look at some of the things that God did, want to hear some special moments, and just really think through, man, 2020. What's funny, that's all I had to say was 2020, and every one of your faces kind of, I saw teeth from everybody. You know, it's just because it's just been wild, hasn't it? It's just been just this wild ride. And so I just want to go on record and telling you guys thank you. So grateful for you guys. There's not a chance in the world our church would be in existence today without this team right here. There's just not a chance in the world. And I want you to know that's how I feel. I think that people watching today, that's exactly how they feel, even though they may not acknowledge that until right now because maybe they didn't know who all was pulling what strings to make things happen. Sometimes jumping through hoops to make things happen. But I just want you guys to know how grateful I am. And then as your church, we're so grateful to you guys. Thank you for all of your work this year. It's just been an amazing thing for us to be sitting where we are right now. So let's just get to it. There's been some crazy things happen this year, some fun things, and we want to celebrate, right? So many things have changed, but what has not changed is the laughter around this place, and so that's been a pretty cool thing. And so let's talk a little bit about some of those things. So John, let me talk to you. John is our family pastor, and John brings some happiness to this place for sure, and so excited about that. I think the way you say that is you bring the joy. Really love that. So John, tell us a little bit about what's some highlight moments for you this year?
Yeah, highlight moments. First thing that came to my mind was thinking about Easter and how we were planning our kids team and the production team to go big for Easter and saying, what can we do? So we ordered, we wanted to do most eggs ever at Rock Point. And so, right when that Amazon order shows up with the truck backing up and all the crates of eggs, it was like,
how many eggs was it, John?
Well, we could go back to storage and take a look. But we had to figure out how to go virtual. And so we took our kids' curriculum and we went online. We thought it was pretty cool. But then Adam and production team and Michael and Luke and we kind of huddled up and said, let's take this one step further for our church. And we decided to go with our family experience. And man, that's been a highlight for our children's ministry and our family ministry. And it's been a whole lot of fun. We've been going to all kinds of locations, and just getting out and going to those places it's been an encouragement, and it's been a whole lot of fun.
John, I love that. So one of the things I think we ought to all clear up here, okay, this is kind of funny, is that I can't tell you how many people have asked me if Michaela was your wife, right?
Well, if you haven't noticed, we now say, hi, I'm John Evans, yes. And she's like, I'm Michaela Wells.
Yeah, I know. And we're putting those names up under the bottom, yes. Just as no, they're not married. Yeah. They each have spouses, you guys. It's but I think that's just a great testimony to how well you guys have worked together. That's been really awesome. I love that. So I think we've got a kind of a quick clip of one of the family experiences. So you want to set the clip up?
Yeah. Is it the one where we decided to invite the reptile guy to come visit us? Hey, Rock Point parents and kids, stay with us after the adult service on Sunday because we have some special guests that you are not going to want to miss. So that was all cute and fun and everything, but what you weren't seeing was when he actually showed up and behind the scenes, and he's draping a python around my neck. And so we had some footage from the booth. Mario, do you want to share a little bit?
Yeah, I just, that day, man, I had the opportunity to help out with sound. Again, being able to transition as a staff to help behind the scenes, I was just going, hey, I'm going to run some sound for our staff. So I'm back there watching the monitor. John is in here being filmed, and I can tell, when John, I've been working with him for a while, and he gets this look on his face, and he's watching the snake head, and I'm sitting there back there cracking up, and then the snake starts to go right behind his ear, and John is terrified, but he's still having to put on a show for the church. And so we're in there cracking up while he's terrified for his life in here. After he's held 2 or 3 other snakes, and that python was wrapping around your neck, and you were trying to ask the guy to get him off of you, but the guy was just talking. So I thought it was funny, man.
Yeah, yeah. You know what's funny to me about that is that forever, like, you know, I come from a church background, so forever we've teased around here about, you know, we're not going to break out the snakes. We've always told people, you know, we're not going to break out the snakes on you. And son of a gun, did we not have a pandemic and break out the snakes?
Yeah, and it was great when he said, hey, you know, these snakes, they've never hurt anyone. Yeah. And as long as you don't show any fear, and my heart was like pounding out of my chest.
So, John, I mean, the family experiences, I'll just say, man, they've just gotten better and better, hadn't they? I mean, just better and better. And there's no doubt that that's attributed to John Evans and Michaela Wells' capabilities on film. You guys have just done so great. But, you know, I also think we got to give a shout out to the people who are behind the scenes that are actually making those things better. Man, they've just gotten better and better and better. And I, at first, it was just kind of something we did. Now they've become this enjoyable part of what we do as a church. And so great job to you guys, but there's just a great job to the people behind the scenes there as well. So that's really awesome. So John, you're not only over kids, but as a family pastor, it means you're also help lead students and student leaders.
That's right.
And so tell us a little bit about that.
Well, backing up to graduation, we always, every year, like to celebrate our seniors. And so we usually gather up in our auditorium and we invite families, and we knew we had to do something different. And for some reason, whenever I decide to plan anything outside with our church, like it's the worst forecast ever. And so like I'm looking at the forecast, it's saying torrential rain, you know, bring your canoe. That was what we were going to try to say to get people to show up. So our team decided to cancel and reschedule. Well, what happened was like the clouds parted and the birds were singing that evening. And that alternative date was when it was torrential rain. So like these clouds all over the radar were like saying, don't go anywhere. And like, we knew we had to do this event, which we were inviting our church to have a drive up. And so we had this inflatable screen, and man, I just remember working with Cameron, and we're just like trying to hang on to that screen. And our team is in the lobby. It's pouring rain outside, and it's supposed to start in 15 minutes. And I'm just like, all right, guys, we're going for it regardless. And we go outside, and like the screen is like blown across out of where it was supposed to be. But that was an awesome memory, just to get to celebrate those seniors that had gone through so much at that time. Yeah. And it ended up being a great night.
I think we have a picture of that, don't we?
And then I'll close out.
John, I love that you pressed forward, but I do want to tell you that, you know, next summer when we're in a drought, we're going to need you to plan an event.
That sounds great. We'll do that. But really, just to the end of this year with our students and our leadership teams, it's been amazing to see how students are still growing, and we've created opportunities for them to learn and still do youth ministry in our church. And so we've done watch parties out in Liberty Hill and in Leander and Cedar Park, and those teams that have made space for students to grow and learn has been awesome to see. It's been such an encouragement because students are participating with growing in the mission of what we're doing in our youth group at our church. And that has a lot to do with those leaders. I'm so proud.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. I'm really thankful for all the effort you've put in, and I know there's a lot of parents out there that are, you know, same way. You know, you're there, and you're you know, you've got students, and that's been a big deal. That's been a big part of what has happened for your students this year. And so, John, great job this year. Again, thanks for all you've put into this year. So Tracy is our missions director, and she does a few other little odds and ends here and there and picks up some pieces along the way. And so, Tracy, I'm really grateful for you this year. It's just been an amazing year. So tell us a little bit about this for you. Like, what's been kind of this highlight point for you as you think through 2020?
Yeah, so I mean, we had to completely kind of do a turn, and actually, like the the first thing I think about is I was actually packing my bag for Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
When I got the call that they had canceled all the trips. And so there were 15 of us planning to leave for Puerto Rico the next day, and we had to, kind of take a turn with that. So that started the whole process of like rethinking missions for 2020. But, one of the really big things that we got to do was we got to create a mobile food pantry. And through that, we served hundreds of families over 3 months. And people got to serve, which was really big because, we were all kind of stuck in our houses and not sure what to do. And those people that have like that heart to serve really needed some way to be able to get outside of themselves and what was happening in that panic and serve other people. And it was just a great way to do that.
Yeah. So I think we need to acknowledge, because like, even though, we had a chance to help create that, I think we all got to step back even one notch from that, is to go, we sat down one day and said, look, we sat down and said, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
And so what do? We call up Hill Country Community Ministries and Thaisa, their director, and you and I meet up with her over there at her office, and something happened, right? So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we just kind of thought, like, how can we help? How can we help the community? And the three of us kind of sat there, and that idea just came to life of like, okay, if people can't, they have a really small facility and people can't come in there, how do we get the food to people?
Yeah.
And then drive-through food pantries were born right there in that little office. Yeah.
Yeah, and so, the couple things that that people may not know, but, behind the scenes certainly appreciate, is, first of all, your driving force in that, right? To go, man, there's a need, and whatever we've got to do to fix that need, we're here to say we got to have a plan together. And so I appreciate your driving force with that. But then also appreciative to Thaisa and her whole team over there for kind of seeing that vision, to be able to go, you're right, there's something maybe we can do. Because it was one of those moments, you remember, it was one of those moments when we walked in there where they were trying to figure out, going, we don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And we just knew we needed to show up. And so that was kind of one of those God moments to like, we got to show up. We got to go over there and like sit down and say, look, here's some ideas. How do we do this? And with you two ladies putting that together in such a great way, here's what I love about it, is it wasn't just Rock Point. That branched out into a lot of churches around the community that just made a difference for everybody. I just want to say that great job with that. I want that to be acknowledged, that there was something behind the scenes pre all of that happened, and I love the driving force you were in that. So one of the funny things to me is like, remember when we couldn't get toilet paper, right?
Yes.
So we couldn't get toilet paper, and this was all right at that time. Pandemic hit, toilet paper disappeared, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of jumped into action. Talk about that.
Yeah, so I found like a restaurant supply company that was still open, and went down there and talked them into, giving us a bunch of toilet paper, right? Which was interesting. But we got toilet paper, and at that time, eggs.
Yeah, that's right.
Eggs were really hard to find.
Yeah.
And so we had volunteers up here packaging eggs and toilet paper, and just, we were trying to keep up with what the latest need was, because that was changing every week, right? So some weeks you could find toilet paper and some weeks you couldn't. Then it was eggs. It was Lysol, whatever it was. We were trying to supplement into those food pantry boxes, whatever people were really needing at the time.
I know probably all of us at a different point worked out and helped in those things.
Yeah, it was
I don't know what you guys think, but I remember people opening a box and or seeing us take a roll of toilet paper and put it in there,
so
and like they're more excited about that than chicken,
They really were, yeah.
I mean, like, give me toilet paper, I can do without meat, maybe even without food, but I gotta have this. So I thought that was just such an interesting memory as well. How about you guys? You guys all worked in those things at different points. What came to your mind?
Yeah, I think out in Liberty Hill for us, it's cool to see people drive up and then line up for those, the people that were in need. But then the volunteers, we got to wear our vests, we got our mask on. But then just the games that we played to go, let's see how fast we can get these cars to move without getting ran over. And then the cool part of it was getting to see, you know, the people that we were helping come back the next week and say, hey, this helped. And then they would tell someone else. And the ripple effect of it, not just being at our church, but within the community. But it was just cool to see that everybody rallied behind to go, hey, how can I help get people what they need? And then also students showing up as well. Like the whole family's coming and serving together. That was pretty neat at 2 locations, yeah.
Yeah, we got to where we were like, okay, so where's Joe? You know, I haven't seen him drive through this week.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we're like building these relationships with people as best we could during those times.
Yeah. Yeah, and then, you know, you never can control natural disaster, but then, you know,
Right.
those things hit. And so it's just been great to watch you take those things and do that and give people opportunity. It's like, look, just because we have a pandemic and these things happen doesn't mean we stop helping people.
Yeah.
Right. We just have to change how we do it.
And the, you know, the heroes of 2020 are medical people. We got to help them a little bit, provided them with some T-shirts, and they were just so appreciative and
Yeah.
just really, you know, couldn't believe we showed up outside of the hospitals just, you know, trying to give them free things. And, you know, I think they thought we were trying to sell them something, but
Yeah,
we weren't. We
yeah.
really just wanted to appreciate them a little bit.
No, so like when you were talking about this, a memory popped into my head. I think we were at Cedar Park Hospital, and this poor guy, we were just waiting for the door to open, and we started cheering, right?
cheered them on.
And we accidentally cheered this guy, and I'm not sure what was going on in his life, but he came walking out that door. We thought he was a medical professional because they were sending them out to us, and we all woo cheering and whistling and everything, and he was on the phone just looking at us
He was
going
like a
by.
patient,
And it's like, you know, I don't know if he has a family member in the hospital or like he's like, they're really excited I'm getting out. I don't know what it was. But there were some really funny moments with that, but that was good too. Hey, I think we've got a clip of the mobile food pantry. So let's take a look at that. Yeah, that's awesome. I love so much that this pandemic forced us to film everything. I love that. Just to be able to see those memories again, so awesome. So again, thank you, Tracy. I'm so grateful for you. And so, Adam, I want to turn to you now. Adam, this has been an interesting year for sure. So, you know, I honestly, I got to kind of smile about something. Just think about it as like, you know, after, you know, being away for, you know, a while. Sorry, this is funny to me, but here you come running back, and it's like, I'm so fired up to get going. Oh, pandemic for you. So, you know, all the things that we had talked about, where we were going as a church, and then, man, so many things turned, and so much of that was, you know, was with you too, you know, I mean, so tell us a little bit about that for you coming into 2020. What has this been for you, and what are some of those great memories you have of this year?
Well, I do think it's interesting that when I was in Nashville, my job was in production. And that's a lot of what I've done since I've come back is worked with so many of our volunteers to get, you know, who knew that, you know, in March we would be only doing, you know, live services streamed online, and we would need the tech and all the stuff that comes along with doing that. So that's crazy to me to think about. I mean, I think God just always is doing stuff like that in our lives. But yeah, for me, it's been like a dog year. I feel like we've lived 7 years in 1 year, and like some of the stuff we've been talking about already today, I'm like, that was this year?
Yeah,
You know,
that
it feels
happened?
like a lifetime ago. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I actually have gray hair now somewhere. I have to find it, but anyways, yeah. So I mean, what comes to my mind is, you know, we have this thing in our church called Families in Crisis, and what people don't see a lot is that behind the scenes, what is given through our church goes to help so many different people, and that kind of showed up a little bit more visibly this year through the Williams family. And they were old neighbors of mine before I moved to Nashville, and Sean and Krista and their little boy. And Sean came down with just this crazy heart defect and ended up in the hospital, almost lost his life. And he's still, recovering from that. But it just shocked me once again. And I've been around the Rock Point family for a long time to see generosity in action and see people, I'd post about it, and I could just actually feel people praying for this family, and praying for Sean, and just to go visit him in the hospital with the mask on and all the whole thing, right? But to see him fighting because he just wanted to get home to watch a show with his boy, on Netflix or whatever. And so to see that, and then a few weeks ago we got to go give them some money that was given through the church for them. And so I'm with my kids, and it's raining, and so they stay in the car, and I go inside. And so I tell my kids, hey, we're going to get to go do this. And I was like, people through our church have given money, and so we're going to go drop this check off. And my oldest son is sitting in the front, and he's just excited, like it's Christmas morning, So anyways, he's like, Dad, you got to let me know how that goes. So I go inside real quick, give them the money, and of course, it's the day they were just sitting there talking about how they're going to make it through the rest of the year. And they just kept looking at the amount, just going, I just can't believe this. This is just God, And so anyways, we took a picture together, hugged each other, and I got back in the truck. And my son said, hey, Dad, did they cry? And I go, yeah, they did, buddy. It's like my kids are going to, all three of my kids were in the car that day. And they're going to remember growing up in a church that just gave, And so for me, man, I mean, like all the other stuff is so great.
Yeah.
But actually, putting our money where our mouth is and seeing people through the food pantry or whatever it is get help. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, Adam, sometimes I think about the perception of somebody of what it means to be on a church staff,
Right.
And first of all of us will acknowledge is that we're just screwed up human beings like everybody who comes here, right? So we just have a job to do, and we're doing our best to try to do it. But there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes, and if you just came to church or you just logged on, you just see these people on your TV.
Yeah.
And the truth is that there's like real live boots on the ground ministry going on that people don't see, and they eventually do, because at some point their life takes a turn too. And it's people like you that you want to show up. It's people like you that have a heart, not just a voice, right? Not just a guitar talent, but that has a heart to love people who are broken and need healing or just need some help. And I think it's just so important for, everybody watching today to know that this group of people here is just normal people. They're like me, they're like you, but their heart just beats for this stuff. And here's what's crazy is like, what's so fun about that is like, I just know the honor you have felt, the conversation we had, the honor you felt to be able to serve somebody like that. And that's such a great piece. And so like, let me just say this to you guys watching, is that being able to stand up and preach, or being able to lead music, or being able to lead in some capacity to serve or something like that is a great thing we get to do. But let me tell you like this, that's kind of the icing on the whole cake for us. That's not the cake. The cake is things like this. The cake is, like some of the things we did over Christmas and helping people like at their need, and, getting to do a Zoom call with somebody who needs help. I mean, you ultimately see that because it shows up on video, but to sit in your office or to sit in your home and do a Zoom call with somebody who's struggling and know that you get to help be instrumental in helping that happen. That's the heart behind this. And so, yeah, preaching and singing, that's all good and we love it and we need it. Great. But man, it's stuff like this that makes the difference. It's why I do stuff. It's why I work here, right? Yeah. Because I can think of a lot of other jobs. I just don't get that opportunity, But, I also want to challenge people with like what you were talking about, because you can create that opportunity right where you are.
Yeah.
You can do this too. It's not because we work on staff that we get to do this. It's because we're people who care and want to help people, and you can do that right where you are. And it's just so important, I think, for us to lead forward in that and for people to see that. But I don't want people to ever see that and go, well, you get to do that because you're on staff. Yeah, there's a few things once in a while we get to do because of that, but mainly because we're people who love people. And that's why we work on staff, is because we love people. And so I think that's awesome, man. So I appreciate you leading the way in that. That's been a great thing. So anything else for you for this year?
Yeah, so I was thinking, and I think we have a clip of this in a second, but we were, so we've been virtual this whole, most of the year. And so that's been an interesting experience for the band to be playing to cameras. And, you're playing a guitar solo and there's a camera like right here by you, and so it's just a strange thing. And, but it's an opportunity. I mean, we've never been able to play music and worship in front of so many people as we have this year. But we had a worship night coming up and we had a rehearsal for it. And so the band that was playing that night got together. And I remember we started running through the songs, and just knowing that we were going to sing these songs with our church in person, man, I was about to break down in that rehearsal. It was just something just strange about that feeling. But we had worship night, and I think John was a part of setting up the event because it rained.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
John.
thank you, John. We needed the rain, so thank you.
Yeah, so we're in the middle of our set, and I feel something hit my head. I'm like, oh no. So I'm like, in my head, I'm like trying to sing these songs to God and lead these people, and I'm just going, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? So anyways, it just popped in my mind, like, let's just shut this thing down and let's go over to the patio and just spread out in the patio, and let's keep singing, because I think our people need to worship together. We've been doing this through TVs and stuff, but we had a chance to be together, and so
Yeah.
we did that, and we had a special moment that for
We
me
did.
is one of my highlights of the year.
Yeah, for sure. That was a special moment for a lot of reasons. Let's take a look at the clip. Yeah, that was memorable for sure. Just those voices underneath there, the rain coming down. One of the things I noticed in the clip is people running in the background trying to get all the equipment loaded up.
Yeah.
That was a crazy time, And so, yeah, I think we needed that. Our hearts needed that at that moment. So I love that there have been moments along the way where that's got to happen. And so, Adam, man, I'm so grateful that you've led the way with that and just keeping that out in front of us. I know that's been a no pun intended, but a drum that you've beat over and over this year is that we've got to keep this out. We've got to, and I love that it drew people together. Yeah. And my guess is as people watched that clip, they also felt and remembered what that was like. And so it's been a great year in those respects for sure. So I appreciate you leading the way through that. It's awesome. Well, Adina, Adina works and helps us with spiritual formation around the church and just leading through groups and now some new areas as well as we talk about that. So some highlights. I mean, your job kind of changed as all of ours did, but yours did too. So like, what's something that, you're remembering is like, man, this was something happened and something changed, but it ended up being a good thing. What is that for you?
Well, I think my first thought on that was, when I started the year, I never dreamed that I would be hosting like the pre-service show, because that was nowhere in my like realm of like my job description or anything I had really ever done. And so that was one of those things that, I think when the pandemic kind of started, you kind of came and said that like, or whatever you think your job description was, let's just erase it and we're just going to start over because we're all going to have to, kind of do some different things around here. And I think we were all like, okay, whatever you need. So I think that was the first one that comes to mind. But, as listening to you talk, I kept thinking about, one of the things I really held on to this year, my favorite thing was when we did the Remedy series, the fall series. Yeah. And I think I'm realizing more and more now that was because I really craved like the consistency. I wanted to kind of go back to something that we knew. And I think that Remedy, for our church is something that's very familiar. And while doing the fall series, it was very different. It was very challenging trying to get all of those people, into groups and really connected again. But I think we just knew deep down that that's what our church needed. People needed connection. They were missing connection so much. And we just fought to make that happen, and we introduced watch parties right about the same time, and just anything we could do to get people to be able to be together, whether it was over Zoom or at this time, we had some groups that were meeting in person. And I think that the virus and all of it just really brought up so many people's hurts, and just some really deep issues kind of came to light. And so I think, whenever we planned Remedy, a year ago, we had no idea what the context would look like.
Yeah.
And it just reminds me of God's perfect timing. He knew exactly that that's what our church would need.
Yeah, what's interesting to me about that, Adina, is that I think that might be the only series that
we
didn't
actually
change.
did.
that didn't change,
Yes.
right? From back mid-March, I think that was maybe the only one that didn't change.
See, God knew we needed it.
Yeah, I think we've got a picture of the pre-show there too. I believe. I'm not sure if we do, but just a pre-show, like because you've done the pre-show. You and John have
We
done
and
the
John
pre-show.
did it, and I wish I had the picture of John when he did it in his shorts and his cowboy boots. We call it the Zoom look, but
Well, yeah, so I was getting ready to baptize someone, and we needed to get that taken care of. And I was like so used to doing Zoom calls with, business casuals, I
Right.
like to call it. And so, that was a whole lot of fun to know, hey, we're getting ready to do a baptism.
right, you just put the shirt on, and I don't even think you buttoned your shirt all the way.
It's good. It's great.
You can always count on John.
I'm wearing shorts and cowboy boots right now. No, not really.
I think the funny thing about John is, regardless, he's tied to every one of our stories, but it's funny because people thought Michaela was his wife, and then he's doing this pre-show with Adina, and everybody's like, they work so well together. It's like, that's not his wife either. And so, but he's tied to each one of our stories, and
I
so
feel like we're gonna have to show a picture of you and
and you're right.
Yes. Well, we do have a picture of Allie. We do have one.
Oh,
There's
there's
Allie
Allie
right
there.
there.
Right there.
There's Sean's wife.
It's the one on the left,
Yeah.
just to be really
This one
clear.
right here.
Yes, make sure we're good on that.
He only has one wife. This
Yeah.
one.
That's awesome. Yeah, so if you connected into a group this year, or if you connected into a watch party, that was Adina, and that was a big change, because I remember coming and saying, Dina, you got to take these watch parties.
Yeah.
This is you,
Yeah, we got it.
run with it, And I'll say that's probably one of Adina's strengths, is the organization of gathering people around. Never ever will it be as hard as it's been this year. I
Right.
hope.
I hope so.
I
This
hope.
has been a challenge.
Yeah, but I think all of us would agree that, Adina's just worked hard to gather people and to support leaders and help those people have what they need in those spaces where they're gathering people at whatever size, whether it's virtually or in person. And so super grateful for all that you've done with that this year.
Thank you.
Yeah. So it's been a challenging year to help people grow spiritually. What are you seeing with that? People's growth spiritually this year?
Wow. I think one of the biggest things I saw is that in the very beginning, I think people realized that they depended on the church for a lot of it. And it seems like almost majority of people kind of hit like a lull. And then I would say probably about September, I noticed people started reaching out more. People started looking for it. It was like they realized how much they really needed that, and they needed that connection, not only with others, but with God. And they were really looking for that. And so I think it definitely showed us kind of the gaps, in our own lives. And I just saw so many people start to fill that in and take a lot of ownership, for their own growth.
Yeah, I think one of the big things we've learned about spiritual growth is that church buildings don't cause spiritual growth.
That's right. That's right.
You can have that happen in a building, but they don't cause spiritual growth.
What's interesting is I feel like there were so many people that came to me that it's almost like they wanted permission to grow on their own, And just somebody saying that, you know, you don't have to come to church to grow. You know, the church is a support for that. Was really big for several people. It's just, you can do that. You can do that on your own. And I think you've said it a couple of times over the last couple of months, is that something nobody can take away from you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Definitely something they can't take away from you. In fact, we're going to talk more about that next week.
That's right.
Really
That's
excited
right.
about that, about some of the things that you can never lose after all we've lost. Some things that can never be taken away, and I think your own spiritual growth is definitely that. So, Dina, I just appreciate you, and I know there's people who have grown this year spiritually, and you've helped lead the way with that. So, really grateful for all that you've done with that this year. It's been really good. So, Mario, man, it's I really everybody's job has changed, but nobody's job has changed more than Mario's. And I don't know if that meant you did more work or if you did less work. And I mean that with all due respect, because Mario's a hardworking guy, man. He just gets stuff done. But man, what a shift for you this year from Liberty Hill campus pastor, which you still hold,
Yeah.
but then all this other stuff. Talk to us a little bit about your year. What's been some highlights for you?
Yeah, man. I thought that at the beginning of the year, Liberty Hill was just, I mean, we were on a steady incline. I mean, we have a great children's program. We were having some great leaders rise up and lead. We saw some amazing things happening. And then I'd scheduled spring break off, and I took off. I left, and then I get a text to our staff from you going, hey, we need to meet. Things are changing and shutting down. And so I was like, oh, no, this is serious. And then Tracy canceled her trip, or we had to cancel it. And so I was like, oh, man, this is hitting home pretty quick. And I'm off on vacation. I come back, and I see that everybody has a role, and I was off that week. So I come in, and I'm sitting out in the lobby, and I know.
Yeah.
So I sit down. I got here a little bit early, and I like to just chill. So I'm sitting there, and I start to think, and I'm like, I don't have a job. Like I'm the only one on the staff, and we start going around in staff meeting. We're talking some things, and I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do? Can I contribute in any way? I mean, I know I can, but what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to lead? But then just feeling like I'm so disconnected from people in Liberty Hill, trying to, check on them. It has just been a wild ride, man, trying to balance checking on people, making sure that we're leading where we need to be leading, but then also in my life there's just so many different hats. So trying to help however I can, man. So.
Yeah, if I was to give awards away to each of you, you could definitely all and do deserve an award. I would definitely give Mario a versatility award, right? Because he's been such a utility player in all of this and keeping a great attitude. And I mean, how many times have I walked in and said, Mario, hey, I need you to do this. I need you to take this. And Mario, one of the things that I remember that you did well, and Tracy, you helped with this too. And so I think you guys tag teamed this early on, was what I call pastoral care. And early on in this, was like, look, we just like all our people are just out there. And as pastors, we're shepherds. And when all of a sudden you look up and all your sheep have taken off, like I'm in trouble, right? And so are they. This is my job, is to be a shepherd. And so I walked in and said, Mario, I need you to run with pastoral care. And man, we started calling people. And
we called a lot of people.
Oh,
man.
my goodness.
I never realized that, people rely on text. So when you start calling them and you don't get any answers, you're like,
why is the church calling me?
Our whole call log was like red. They did not answer, left voicemail. We're like, well, you can text them. And so that was, Tracy did a great job starting that. We kind of teamed up and took that and trying to call, everyone in the church is a big task, and making sure they're okay. And then the cool thing is finding out that, there's some needs out there. And like Adam had said, our church was ready to, give where it was needed, and we got to help people, whether it was a toilet paper or taking people meals right to their doorstep at that time. So
and I think when we say call the whole church, you can easily just slide right by that. So let me just tell you, in case you don't know, that's over 5,000.
Yeah.
Okay. You may not know that. You may not realize that. That's over 5,000 phone numbers.
Yeah, totally.
So we're not talking about something you're going to do in an afternoon.
No.
It literally took us several months to be able to work our way through that,
Yeah.
you know? So that pastoral care. And so like, if you felt any of that, remember back, right? Think back on that to what you felt like when you got a call from the church. You know, that means something because you mean something, and that's what that was about. So I'm just really grateful for the leadership there. Tell us about maybe what's a highlight for you.
Man,
through this year?
So I know I have several hats that I wear, but one of the ones that I wear, I guess, proudly is trying to keep things light. And I know most people don't know that side of me, or they don't think that I'm a prankster. And there's times that I know Shane has asked me to kind of tone it down. So, I mean, I'm always carrying my phone, and it has to be on when John's on camera. And like I said, one of my favorite times this year was being able to play a role and help Adam with production. And I know like how to run sound, how to mute. So I'm supposed to be watching the soundboard, but John is on camera. And I think we have a clip of him being on camera and this snake wrapped around him. And I'm just going, I got to catch this because this guy is terrified, and he's trying to run this program for Sunday morning, and he's terrified to death. So I think we have.
Yeah, let's
this.
take a look at it.
You'll hear me cracking up. His look on his, you can tell that John's scared. Oh, yeah, right here. This right here was hilarious. Right there. Oh, man. Yeah, man. So I'm
that's
always
awesome.
just trying to. He cracks us up. But anyways, I just love that, man, because of the things that we did for our children's ministry. But being able to play a role on staff where, hey, we need help recording, so hey, I got to run sound while also just keeping things light and recording some things. So
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I love those. I love those for sure. So one of the other things that we all had to jump in is, Easter was weird.
yeah.
Wasn't it? It was just so weird because like it's like it was kind of like our first big thing that hit us. Like, okay, we're not here, we're online, we're doing this thing, but then like it's like, hey, we're like 3 weeks from Easter. And we like John, as you brought up earlier, like, we've got a storage full of Easter eggs.
Yeah.
We were ready. I mean, like we were prepped, man. Easter was on the move, man, because that's a big day. It's our Christian holiday that we celebrate and we should celebrate. And Easter was just a big deal. What's your memory of that,
Man,
Mario?
I think one was on the side of the marketing and the communication, helping him run that and ordering. Well, he ordered Easter eggs, and I ordered, mailers to go out to your mailbox for I don't know how many counties. And they show up, and you're like, awesome. They look great. Everything's spelled right. The logo's legit. And then we're like, hey, we can't use those. And that was a little bit of a, man, that's not good. We created something great, so we have mailers for next year that'll say 2020. But anyways, no. But one of the things that I do remember is the parade, the drive-through bunny hunt. And the cool thing was being able to see. That was the first time I think we invited some people back to go through and just seeing people, in person in their cars, and getting to see people that I knew that didn't come to church here that heard about this. And just people in my life that I go, they're my friend, but they're not in this church yet, or they don't go to church yet, and they'd stop and they'd say, man, thanks for inviting us to this because our kids wanted to get out. And just to be a part of something that the community heard about and just being able to watch them drive through and the line to be backed up.
Being able to turn on a dime and create that, just is such a great shout out to you guys who led the way in that. And obviously there's lots of other people who did things, but just leading the way in that. So that's such a great job.
Yeah, man. So what about you? I think one of the things that comes to mind, I know you and I have had conversations, and a lot of us, but one of the things I don't think people realize, like you said, there's people behind the scenes, but being at the front, like we say, the tip of the spear, being able to go forward and lead an organization or a church forward, you get the hit, you get the one that, hey, why aren't we doing this, or we're doing this, or hey, great job, or very bad job, or what are you guys thinking, right?
Yeah.
And so everybody directs that at the leader, at the pastor, but then to be able to take care of your family and the things that you've walked through this year, our staff, our families, to rally us together. Man, you've done an amazing job as a leader. And I don't think people, again, like you said, on the other side of the camera on Sunday mornings, you're up here teaching, but the weight that goes into leading a church, leading a family, and then a staff, it takes a lot. And I know that weighs a lot. But, I think you did an amazing job this year, not knowing there's no handbook for COVID, right? There is no handbook for a pandemic hitting.
There is now.
Now, yeah. we'll be trademarking that and selling that next year too. But anyways, but tell us a little bit about your favorite maybe moments of this year, and maybe some of the things you've learned through the ups and downs of this year.
Yeah, honestly, I was just trying not to get canceled. No, I tell you what, it's been interesting. And so, leadership's an interesting thing to me anyway. I love leadership. I love to think about it and study it and learn more. And what I do know, even though I had no idea how to lead through a pandemic, if I'm just I'll be totally authentic, totally making it up as I go along. Right? I don't know how else to tell you. I'm just making this up as I go along, bouncing things off of you guys. Is this right? Here's what I'm thinking. And, just trying to lead forward. And so the one thing I do know about leadership is that in crisis, you just need to be clear about what we're doing. And that's pretty tough to do in crisis. So here's what we're doing. And I know initially it was like, look, I mentioned that whole shepherd idea, Initially that was it for me, is like, look, I'm supposed to be a shepherd. I am a sheep too, but I am supposed to be a shepherd, and God's given me this flock of people to love on and take care of, and they're out there somewhere. So I got to go find them, and I got to one by one try to do my best to try to draw them back in. And what I found is that the sheep, it's not like they scattered and went somewhere. It was like they were kind of pushed out, and they were still there. And so that was awesome but with leadership, you got to just say, hey, this is what we're doing. And you guys know, and I told you up front, like, look, this may feel really controlling to you. And I don't mean for it to be controlling, but I got to take the reins, and here we go, so let's go. And we did, man, every day. You remember those twice a week we were, doing something online, live, and putting out devotions every day and calling people and like, look, do this, 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 and this. We don't have time for questions, just do this, right? And that's what we all did. We all just jumped in. And so that was kind of an amazing ride along the way. I don't want to have to do this again, but the truth is that I just knew that God and you guys, all the rest of our staff, and our people were here, right? We didn't go anywhere. Our church didn't cease to exist. And getting your mind wrapped around that and going, God can do something in this as well. And I think just some of the stories we've told today have been a big testimony to that as well. I do have a few memorable moments along the way. Early on, man, it was just kind of panicky leadership, making it up as I go. But then some memories started kicking in for me. A few of those is, like Mother's Day. I think back to Mother's Day. You talked about the bunny hunt on Easter. Well, we learned something, just technically, we had people lined up out in the street, so we're like, we got to do that different. So we did it different. But then Mother's Day was just so huge, and that we had people out onto Ronald Reagan from the campus, and it may have been you, Adina, either came out to me or called or said like you got to pick it up, because Julie and I were out there giving out Mother's Day gifts. We were just so good to see people, and we were trying to hurry along, but you don't want to hurry along relationship. And so, man, they were like, look, we got people on Ronald Reagan, you got to go, And so I just think about Mother's Day. And look, there was something really special that day, Julie and I being out there, seeing all of our people come back around, just go, oh, hey, there you are. And it was the first time I had seen some of those people coming through that line. That was a super memorable day for me. I think another one, and we've talked about being online and being virtual, I think another one is that first day of being online. I think we actually have a picture here. Yeah, you can, if you can see my face, you can see about probably how I felt about having to go online, right? But you know, I look at that and I just go, man, we designed all of that, and with no intention of being online. We were expecting people to be here, and here we are. That was our first day. But you know, to me, this is just me in lights, and that's all fun and fine, and it looked good. But you know what the most important part of this day was? Is look at this next picture. The next picture is this. That's the team of people that put us online in 5 days. You know, Adam, there you are, and everybody behind you who helped support. But man, I want to give a shout out to Dave too. Man, a guy worked tirelessly to take some stuff on, and you know, get us online in 5 days in a way we had never been online. And so when I look at that team, I just go, man, there's some heroes right there. And if, you know, for those of you who can see yourself in that picture, man, I just want you to know that's what we see, is there's some heroes there in there.
Yeah, so we had this group together, and we were talking about all this stuff. And there's this one guy in the group that we were talking about, how are we going to go online by Sunday? And he goes, guys, there's no way this is going to happen. So we were all like, hey, hold on, here we go.
Challenge accepted. Or in other cases, we would say, here, hold my beer,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's just, man, think about where we've come from that point. But man, it was this group of people that really put us out there to get going and be online. You know, I really have two other moments. One of them is like a series of moments, and there are Venmo challenges like we just did on Christmas Eve, right? Like how people respond to that. You can sit in your living room and help somebody. You know, what a great way in the middle of a pandemic to do that. And, you know, I love what we did at Christmas and this year and helping people, but it wasn't just Christmas. It was also helping other people that just needed some help, and to do that live in the moment in these Venmo challenges. In fact, we've got a clip of that, the Venmo challenge, one of these here. So take a look at this. This is what I'm talking about. All right. Philip, what's up, man? It's good to see you again. Thanks so much for coming, man. Thanks for coming. I'm gonna bring a camera here. We're gonna talk for just a second. So we met up this week, right? Here, let me have that. I'll just help them. They want to make sure they can hear you too. So we met up this week. It's the first time we had met, right? And so we just learned a little bit about you. We learned that you got a catering company. Tell me the name of your company.
The Lighthouse Cuisine and Kitchen.
The Lighthouse Cuisine and Kitchen. So it's a corporate, right? You do a lot of corporate, right? Used to. Yeah, because all that changed. I mean, just everything changed for you. It just stopped. And so, you know, we left Thursday with you on our mind, just going, you know, there's a guy that has had to transition everything and make something happen. And so you don't know this, but we asked you to bring us tacos today for a very specific purpose. And that is, we reached out to our church family this morning at the start of this broadcast and asked them if they would help give you a really wonderful tip today for bringing this out here. So let me just be honest, it's $100 for the tacos, right? When I about $100 for the tacos. And then we told our people if they would share the video, for every share, we give $1 up to 100. So we're like, cool, we want to give you a $100 tip, which we think is a cool thing. But then we're like, that's just not good enough. And so here's what happened. We set up a little Venmo challenge, and bring that to me because I don't even know where we're at. So here we go. Does this include his $100? Tacos plus looks like $1,642.93, right? So Philip, that's from Rock Point Church today, all right? God bless you, my friend. Keep going. Don't give up, all right?
I'm not giving up. I keep going because he hasn't told me to stop.
Yeah.
I get up and I go and do as long as he tells me to do. And he does stuff like this that blesses me, blesses the business, and I can't stop.
Yeah,
And
man.
so, man, this is-
well, don't stop. Look, I just want you to know there are some people who see your hard work, and we know you've been through it, changing everything, and we just wanted to say thanks so much.
Well, thank
right?
you.
That's awesome.
This-
All right,
this
y'all
is
give
huge,
Philip a
man.
big
No,
hand.
no,
All right, that's awesome.
Thank you.
So you see what I'm talking about? I mean, I just love the look on people's face when they just go, "What in the world? You did what?" And man, I just visualize our people out there in their living room with their phone just going, you know what, look, I can give $5. you know, look, I can give $25. I can do that. Look, man, look, I got $1,000. I can do this, you know. Such an amazing, amazing thing. And then probably the final one for me is this. You know, Mario, you mentioned like just things that have happened in my life, and everybody's had stuff in their life this year. Man, everybody. My life's no different, and definitely nothing special above anybody else's. But just, you know, a lot of stuff has happened in my life, and particularly over this last month. And so, about a week ago, I was, as you well know now, played Santa Claus on Christmas Eve. And, you know, I'll just be straight up with you. I didn't want to play Santa Claus, right? Because I felt like the Grinch, you know? I mean, really, I just felt like the Grinch. And so I didn't want to play Santa Claus because you got to be happy as Santa Claus. And, you know, I just wasn't in a place in my life where I just had a lot of stuff that had happened and I just wasn't happy. But look, man, I got a job to do. And so sometimes you just suck it up and go do that job. And so I put on that Santa suit, and then I heard they were going to drop me off on Ronald Reagan. and you know, goodness, that was like the worst thing that could happen to me is, you know, put me in, like somebody's losing a job. I'm wearing a blue shirt, you know. And that's just an inside joke that if I have a blue shirt on, everybody ought to watch out because that's the day you get fired. But yeah, so I get dropped off on Ronald Reagan just past Crystal Falls out here, our Leander campus. And I mean, I get out of the car and I still don't want to do this, you know. And so off I go walking down Ronald Reagan, and I'm just walking, and they drive off and leave me. And they say, we got to go turn around. Well, like they're gone for like 10 minutes, it feels like. But about 30 seconds into walking down Ronald Reagan, people start
in a Santa suit.
In a Santa suit, right? And look, I've got my back to car, so it's not like they can see my face. All they can see is the, you know, guy in a Santa suit walking down. And you know what's crazy is people started like honking at me. And at first I thought I was in the road and I needed to move, so I got in the grass and I just kept walking down there, and people kept honking. And about the fourth or fifth car honking at me, I realized something's happening here because I'm in this suit and they don't know it's me and they don't know what's going on in me and they don't even know that I don't want to be out here. But something is happening for them by me being out here. And I get emotional about it, think about it, because my heart needed something. And I didn't realize how strong I needed to bring joy to other people. And when I realized what was happening, I thought, well, I can't just be out here and, you know, screw all you guys for honking at me. I can't do that, you know. So I took my little bell and I started ringing my bell. And I walked down, but I walked down a good ways, and then I just turned around and started walking towards traffic. And I'm ringing that bell, and I start waving at people, and people are rolling down their windows and taking pictures. And this dump truck comes by, and I think, man, it would just be the highlight of my day. And so I'm like, you know, he's like, ah, and I'm giving him this, and like, you know, you made the nice list. And, you know, I'm telling you, it just did something in my heart to go, man, that's what this is about. And it's not about what was going on in me, it's about what I could give. And if I could just say thanks to you guys, I would just say thanks for fighting through what was going on in your life to give what you gave this year, because that's what makes the difference. And so if you felt something this year, you got something this year, if something changed in you, if you came to Christ, if you were baptized, if you found a new church, if you found a church. Yeah. I mean, it's because somebody did what they had to do, even whenever everything wasn't perfect behind the scenes. And that's what makes a difference. So when we say help people heal from life's hurts, that's what we're talking about. Is sometimes you got to walk through your hurt to help somebody else in their hurt. And so look, don't pretend here that somehow there's a group of people here who got it all together. Like sometimes we're just in our Santa suit doing what we need to do because you're out there and you need it. And so what that is to me is sacrifice. And that's what you've gotten from us this year, these people in particular, is sacrifice. And so I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to you guys. But I all of us would agree, we are the representatives of the other part of our staff. And I think about Etiana, and I think about Luke, and I think about Amber, and I think about Molly cleaning up this place and making sure it's COVID free. I think about Michaela, your TV wife. BJ, BJ, Angela,
Dave for a while.
Dave, yeah, man, it just is. Christina early on, this year. And man, I just think about the support that we've all received and the difference it's made for us in order to lead forward for you. And so look, I know this has been a look back. I hope that you can look back in 2020. And I hope that you can find inside of you somehow that God has done something amazing this year that we never thought possible. We didn't know what was going to happen or how it was going to happen, but God did it. And 2021 is going to be an amazing year. And when you got people like this driving, let me tell you, you've found a great church with great people. So we've looked back, but now it's time for us to look forward. So I hope you'll join us next week, January 3rd. It's online, and we'll explain a little more. But we'll be taking a look at the things that you can never lose. So let us just say from all of us, can we just maybe, I know I'm going to tell you, can you see all of us in there? Make sure we're all on here, all right? We'll just make a change and say for all of us here, we're going to say Happy New Year, right? So from all of us to you, ready? Happy New Year.
Hi, I'm John Evans.
And I'm Michaela Wells. Welcome to this week's Family Experience. Now that the holidays are over, we are starting fresh and it's time to begin a new year.
That's right. And we're here to visit my good friend Doug, who just opened his brand new studio, BC Fit Studios in Round Rock. He's going to take the kids through a special workout. We're going to head in, meet him, and have some fun. Come on, let's go. All right, we're here with our good friend Doug and owner of BC Fit.
Who's ready for a workout? Let's go. year is that we get to start on new things. Maybe it's an opportunity to get healthier, or a new start on things at school, or to work on keeping your room clean, or maybe even to help around the house without having to be asked. There's no doubt that we are all excited to see what 2021 will bring.
Hey, just like starting a new year, that's the awesome thing about Jesus, is that God renews our lives. When we choose to forgive somebody or work on our attitudes, God renews our life. And that is our bottom line today, is that God renews our life.
That's right. With the new year, it's a great opportunity to love God with all of your heart, mind, soul, and strength. When we do that, God renews our life.
All right, now we're going to all sing a song together, so stand up, sing along, and let's have some fun.
You never turn away, you never leave my side. And every time I call your name out just to find that you're already right here with me, never been alone. I can trust you with my heart, 'cause this I know. You are always faithful, you love me from the start. No matter what I'm facing, I will trust you with my heart. You are more than able to lead me through the dark. Your love is never failing, I will trust you with my heart. Whoa, I will trust you with my heart. There are days when I feel I need a friend, and then I hear your voice reminding me again that you're already right here with me, never been alone. I can trust you with my heart, 'cause this I know. You are always faithful, you love me from the start. No matter what I'm facing, I will trust you with my heart. You are more than able to lead me through the dark. Your love is never failing, I will trust you with my heart. Whoa, I will trust you with my heart. No matter what may come, no matter what I go through, God, you are never gonna fail me, I will trust you with my heart. No matter what may come, no matter what I go through, God, you are never gonna fail me, I will trust you with my heart. You are always faithful, you love me from the start. No matter what I'm facing, I will trust you with my heart. You are more than able to lead me through the dark. Your love is never failing, I will trust you with my heart. Whoa, I will trust you with my heart. Whoa, I will trust you with my heart. Whoa, I will trust you with my heart.
This fitness studio is so awesome. And every year at this time, it's always a great time to get a new start on things by getting healthier.
Yeah, just like focusing on fitness and growing your muscles, it's also so important to think about growing and getting stronger and following Jesus. So now's a great time for maybe setting some goals to do that. Maybe that's reading Bible stories every day, or it's praying together with your family and setting a priority and a goal to do that, or working on serving and helping others, because every day God renews our life, and when we focus on that, we go stronger with Him.
Check out this Bible story about a guy named Noah who follows God's plan for his life and gives everyone a fresh new start.
The Faithful Hall of Fame, Hebrews 11. Noah! This is Noah. Noah is in the Hall of Fame because he trusted God. God told Noah to build an ark for his family and the animals to live on during the flood. When the ark was ready, God told Noah to load everyone into the large boat. They entered in pairs, each with another of its kind. After 7 days, it started to rain. The underground waters erupted from the earth, and the rain fell in mighty torrents from the sky. It rained for 40 days and 40 nights and then stopped. Many days later, Noah sent out a dove to find dry land, but the dove came back. After 7 days, Noah sent out the dove again, and it returned with a branch. After 7 more days, Noah released the dove again. This time, it did not return. This made Noah think the dove found dry land where it could rest. Noah lifted the covering of the boat and saw that the surface of the ground was dry. Noah trusted in God's plan, and God protected his family during the flood.
Now it's time for our giveaway. If you've had as much fun as we have some good news for you. You can text the word New Year, all one word, New Year, to 512-710-2323 for your chance to win a fitness pack.
Okay, now we're going to go over our memory verse. You guys ready?
Yes.
Perfect. We won't give up.
We won't give up.
Even though things can get tough.
Even though things can get tough.
Every day, God makes new life.
Every day, God makes new life.
Awesome, great job. Now let's go ahead and try that this week and see if we can remember it and practice it at home.
Well, guys, that's all the time we have this week, but thank you so much for being with us, and we'll see you next week.
Hey, that's right. Don't forget to remember our bottom line this week, that God renews our lives, and to do your part to grow stronger in God this year. So don't forget to set those goals and make it a priority. So we're going to say a prayer for us, and we're going to head out. God, thank you so much for renewing our life and for helping us grow stronger to help serve you and those around us. Thank you for this new year ahead. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right.
Bye.
Bye.